Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Flora would like to introduce you to Nuhu Lawal, who apparently prefers to be known as Chris Baker. I know you all love a good geographically challenged scammer. Well, Chris Baker isn't going to disappoint. He introduced himself to Flora on the 28th of March. Hello, he said. Hi, said Flora. How are you doing, Flora? I'm very well, thanks, she said. I see you live near Southend. Yes, he said. What about you? I live in Malvern, said Flora, who was busy moving around the country apparently. Good, he said. I'm Chris Baker from West Virginia, Charleston. You just told me you live in Southend, she said, and copied and pasted the bit in his profile where it said, lives in North Fambridge, Southend-on-Sea, United Kingdom. Yes, he said. So you aren't from Charleston, in West Virginia, said Flora. I'm an engineer, working under the United Nations. Due to the nature of my job, I'm currently working with the ExxonMobil Oil Company here in the Atlantic Ocean, off the coast of England. You know, off the west coast of England. I'll show you a map in a minute. Sorry, I'm from West Virginia, Charleston. So why did you say you're from Southend? Asked Flora. I ain't from Southend, he said. I just told. I'm from West Virginia, Charleston. Currently working in Fambridge, Southend-on-Sea. Now do you understand? It's on my profile. You can check it. OK, says Flora. I thought you said you were in the Atlantic. Now you say you're in a small village in Essex. Are you deliberately trying to confuse me? Yes, you're right, he said. I dighton try to confess you. OK? I don't understand what I dighton try to confess you means, said Flora. So you definitely aren't in the Atlantic. You're in a small village in Essex. So he sent her a screenshot of his profile. Here it is. It says, lives in North Fambridge, Southend-on-Sea, United Kingdom, from Charleston, West Virginia. You will understand it through my profile, he said. Yes, said Flora. I can read your profile. That's why I asked if you're from Southend. First you said yes, you are. Then you said no, you aren't. Now you're telling me you work in the Atlantic. Then telling me you don't work in the Atlantic. You work in North Fambridge, a small village in Essex. So perhaps you should tell me where you really work. To refresh your memory, this is what you said. And Flora copied and pasted the bit where she says, I see you live near Southend, and he said, yes. You clearly said yes. You live near Southend. Then you clearly told me you're in the Atlantic. And now you tell me you aren't in the Atlantic. You're working in North Fambridge. You told me all those things, so tell me which is correct and which were made-up lies to impress me. You asked me first if I'm living in the Southern. I said yes, and I told you that I'm from West Virginia, Charleston. Phew, said Flora, so you do live near Southend. So now, what's all that bullshit about being in the Atlantic if you're currently working in Fambridge? Or are you going to tell me you didn't actually mean currently working in Fambridge? You just said it because you thought it sounded good. Currently working in Fambridge, Southend-on-Sea, he said. Good, said Flora. So the bit about working in the Atlantic was bullshit to impress me. What do you do in Fambridge? And don't tell me you're on an oil rig in the Atlantic. We know that's a ridiculous lie to impress me. Flora, I'm not lying, and you just need to understand. OK? No, said Flora. You need to stop lying and tell me what you really do in Fambridge. I already told you. OK, he said. No, you didn't, said Flora. Try again. What do you do in a small village in Essex? Because you've already assured me that really is where you work, and you aren't lying about that. And if you lie to me again, you can go away. So, last chance, what do you really do in Fambridge? Drilling oil and gas, he said. You make me feel bad. Drilling oil and gas in a small village in Essex. I guess you're feeling bad because of the medication they're giving you. I guess you're in a mental health unit because you're having difficulties with reality. I'm sure you'll get used to the medication soon. And now we'll take a short break and I'll show you a few bits from the map. First of all, this is North Fambridge. I think you can probably see it's just a small village on the River Crouch. The pin on this next map shows North Fambridge, and underneath you can see Southend-on-Sea. It's on the east coast of England. which puts it on the shores of the North Sea. And for later in the video, here's a map of the entire UK. The pin again shows the location of North Fambridge. The North Sea I've circled to the right, and I've added the Atlantic Ocean to the left. After that short break, we'll get back to the action. And Flora has just said to her man, "I guess you're in a mental health unit because you're having difficulties with reality. I'm sure you'll get used to the medication soon." To which our man replied, "Good, you'll get used to it, if you say so." "Oh yes," said Flora, "I'm sure they'll help you back to reality. Do you know which hospital you're in?" "So where are you at now?" he asked. "I'm at home," said Flora. "The question is, where are you?" To which our man replied, "Not really." "Which hospital you're in?" Flora asked. "I'm not in the hospital," he said. "Oh," said Flora, "they sent you home?" "You're so funny," he said. "Do you have someone coming in to make sure you've taken your medication?" asked Flora. "Stop it!" "Okay," he said. "You mean you are still in hospital? It's okay. I'm sure you'll feel better soon. Do you know where you really live when you aren't in hospital?" "Let us be friends," he said. "I guess I'll get used to you." "Maybe," said Flora. "Do you know where you really live when you aren't in hospital? Or is that why you're in hospital? You have amnesia and you don't remember who you are." "I'm working at drilling contractors, ExxonMobil, oil and gas company, here in the Atlantic Ocean, off the coast of England," he said. "That's where I'm currently at, now. Thank you. Hope you're okay now." "So you're definitely in the Atlantic," she said. "And you definitely were lying when you said this, currently working in Fambridge, Southend-on-Sea. I'm not lying. You just need to understand me. So you have one final last chance. One chance. Are you A, in North Fambridge, a small village in Essex?" To which he replied, "Yes, Flora," while Flora was typing. "Or are you B, in the Atlantic Ocean? Which is it? A, in North Fambridge, or B, in the Atlantic? This is your last chance, so think carefully before answering." "North Fambridge, Southend-on-Sea," he said. "That's the place I live in the United Kingdom, okay? What do you think?" "Okay, so you definitely are working in North Fambridge, like you said before, and you definitely are not in the Atlantic. Now tell me what you really do in North Fambridge. You only have one chance to tell the truth. One chance. So again, think very carefully before answering. Very, very carefully. I'm currently working with the ExxonMobil company here in the Atlantic Ocean, off the coast of England," he said. "Oh, FGS," said Flora. "Go away. You're either working in the Atlantic Ocean or you're working in Fambridge. If you can't decide where you are, I don't want to talk to you. You're clearly a lying, brain-dead idiot. Go away." "Okay," he said a bit later. "Are you still there?" "Yes, unfortunately," said Flora, "still waiting for you to decide whether you're in the Atlantic or in a small village in Essex. But as you're clearly a brain-dead, lying moron, I doubt if you know the answer. Goodbye." "You're the one who confused me about all this," he said. "I'm Chris Baker, from West Virginia, Charleston. Live in Fambridge, Southend-on-Sea. I'm currently working with the ExxonMobil Oil Company here in the Atlantic Ocean, off the coast of England. And you are a nice person. Don't go, Flora. I know you've insulted me a lot, but I don't care. I still like to talk to you. Flora, talk to me." "So now you're saying you don't work in Fambridge, but you live there. How many more lies are you going to tell me? Anyway, tell me about Fambridge. Where's your house? You know, the house that you live in when you live in Fambridge." "Okay, I will tell you," he said. "I can't wait for the next round of lies," said Flora. "Hello," said our man the next day. Flora ignored him. "Hi," she said the next morning. "I'm holding my breath, waiting eagerly for you to tell me whether you work in Fambridge or don't work in Fambridge." "No," he said, "I don't work in Fambridge. Okay?" "Okay, we'll agree that you don't work in Fambridge," said Flora. "Where do you work? And if you say, 'I work in Fambridge,' you'll get blocked." "I'm currently working with the ExxonMobil Oil Company here in the Atlantic Ocean, off the coast of England. That's all the whole truth. Okay? Exclamation mark, he said, and sent 3 thumbs up. "Okay," said Flora, "at last. How long have you been working here?" Have been here for 9 months, and I have 2 years' contract with the company, he said. Good afternoon. How are you doing today? Are you really single? Meaning? Replied Flora. I mean, are you a single lady? Yes, she said. I'm divorced. Okay. How long have you been married / divorced? We were divorced last year, she said. Okay. Do you have any kids? We have an adopted daughter, said Flora, but we haven't seen her for 15 years. Really? Where could she be? He said. We know where she is, said Flora, but she chooses not to communicate. We adopted her when she was 6 years old and she had a lot of issues. Okay, but that should not stop her from communicating with her parents. It's her choice, said Flora. I just pray all is well with her, anywhere she is. I'm sure it is, said Flora. Good. God will always guide her. Amen. Hello. How are you doing? He said a couple of days later. Flora ignored him. A couple of weeks later. Hello. Dead or alive? Hello today, he said a week later. Flora carried on ignoring him. He came back on the 7th of May. Good morning, he said. Hello, said Flora, who cracked. I haven't been on Facebook for ages. I've moved house. I had other things on my mind. How are you doing? Good, he said. Nice to hear from you today. Where have you been? I told you, she said. I moved house. I moved to Shrewsbury. Moving ever further north through the country. Good, he said. I'm happy you moved to your new house. Hope to hear from you soon, as you're less busy with whatever you're doing. Okay? Morning. How was your night? Have a great day. God bless. I had a good day, thanks, said Flora. I'm still in Fambridge, which very definitely isn't in the Atlantic Ocean, unless it is. In Atlantic Ocean, he said. Do you forget about it the last time we talked about it? If I may ask, do you have Gmail address? I'd like to write mine down. I could never forget the last time we talked about it, said Flora. You didn't seem to know if Fambridge was on dry land or floating around at sea in the Atlantic Ocean. And she gave him her email address. Thanks for the Gmail address, he said. Would I regret it, asked Flora, if I asked where you are in the Atlantic Ocean? Silly me. I know the answer, don't I? Fambridge. The whole village is now floating around aimlessly, adrift on the ocean of life. Well, haven't been in Fambridge almost 1 year now, he said. Okay, said Flora. Where in the Atlantic are you? Hello. Good morning, he said. Sorry I haven't been on Facebook. How are you doing today? This was the 11th of May. 3 days later. Flora ignored him. He sent a thumbs up. Flora carried on ignoring him. Hello. Good evening, beautiful lady, he said on the 16th. How are you doing today? How are you doing? He said on the 18th. I wrote you on the Google chat. Would be very happy if I get a response from you there. Thank you. Hello, dear. How are you? Oh, it's you, said Flora. Hello again. Are you ever going to answer a question first time? It's so tedious talking to someone who doesn't engage in a conversation and just talks to themselves. So I'll try one last time. Where in the Atlantic are you? North Sea, he said. Now I've answered your questions. So what else do you want to know? How are you doing today? And if I may ask, where are you at now? I'm at home, said Flora. So you aren't in the Atlantic Ocean now? Did you move to another rig? Yes. We don't stay in one place at the sea. Move all over the ocean, he said. Good night, and sweet dreams. Talk to you in the morning time. Oh, said Flora. Are you on a ship? Yes, sure, he said. How are you? I'm very well, thanks, said Flora. What kind of ship are you on? And where are you going? That's where I am, he said. Look at the photo. Sending this photo. Looks very much like the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, or the middle of the North Sea, doesn't it, ladies and gentlemen? I've looked at the photo, said Flora. That doesn't tell me where you are, or which ship you're on. It shows me another boat and some trees. And so he sent her another photograph, clearly taken from the front of a truck, of a boat. I understand, he said, but I already told you where I am already. I just want to show you some photos. I know those photos doesn't tell you where I'm at, and I did already. So how's everything going with you? No, said Flora, you haven't told me where you're at. You told me you're in the North Sea. Where in the North Sea? Nor does that tell me which ship you're on. I realise you're a thick, stupid, totally dense, illiterate, moronic idiot, but even a single brain cell amoeba such as yourself should be able to use their phone to find their location, and even you must know which ship you're on. If you don't, ask the captain. It seems that our man didn't like being called thick, stupid, totally dense, illiterate, moronic, or an idiot, because he disappeared. I hope you enjoyed this journey through the oceans of life. If you did, please like it, please share it, please comment down below, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again in another video.